All right, let us now move on to the co-main event of UFC Fight Night. In the lightweight division, Grant Dawson got the win over Damir Ismagulov. The scorecards read 30-27, 30-27, and a 30-26, all in favor for Dawson. Omar, start us off. Give us your take on this fantastic performance over a very, very talented and impressive opponent in Ismagulov.
So I feel like when we talked about this this fight last week, and I beautifully picked Grant Dawson, I feel like, to win. I feel like that was a beautiful one on my part. I didn't see this coming, dog. I didn't see this coming. I didn't. I didn't.
You picked him.
No, I picked him to win.
Like this.
I did not pick them to win like this. I assumed Grant Dawson would find an opportunity. I assumed, Grant Dawson would be able maybe to find a choke or a position that would work for him or something like that. Some fuck up somewhere that he could take advantage of. He beat the holy shit out of this kid. I mean, this was a beautiful Grant Dawson performance. Let me hang on here. I had to write some things down here. The back escape that Ismagulov tried to get into, and Grant Dawson continuously tried to ride, or continuously did ride, moved with him, continuously never let him off the hook. It was basically like wet paper towel on him for most of that time. I couldn't be happier with the way that Grant Dawson won that fight, and I think the reason why is because he exceeded my expectations in the fact that he didn't just look for an opportunity. He made the opportunities. He forced that fight. He made that fight what he wanted it to be, and I really think we just saw a real level up in Grant Dawson.
Totally. Mark, getting you in here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. You got to feel the same way. This thing started, and Damir immediately stuffed a really good-looking takedown attempt from Grant Dawson. And I was like, yep, here we go. Like, this is going to be a long night for Grant. And then a minute later, he's got a takedown. A minute after that, he's got the back. And we've said it before about Grant Dawson, certainly, but he is an elite-level back taker. And his back control is just as high level. Like, when he is on your back, you're not really changing that position. And Ismagulov learned that in this fight for sure. But I just couldn't believe how he kept getting to that spot every round. And for him to do that against a guy who Arman could barely hold down for like a few Mississippis before he sprung back up to his feet is a monster statement from Grant Dawson. Like, if you remember, yes, Arman beat Ismagulov, but a huge portion of that fight was Ismagulov propping up on his arms, and his ass wasn't on the ground, and Arman trying to change position to actually get him on the ground, and Ismagulov would hip out again, and like, he couldn't even get him truly on the mat, and Grant Dawson had his back for fucking almost 15 whole minutes. He dominated him all fight. And in round two, there was, kind of an extended striking exchange to start that round, and Ismagulov was touching Dawson, and it was like, oh, man, like, could this start to swing here? But Dawson adjusted right away. He dragged it back down, and he got right back to the back. And the third round back take might have been the nastiest one of all of them. I mean, he lifted him. The second they hit the mat, the hooks were already in. It was the dude has drilled back takes about 1 billion times in his life, and you could tell it. He's good. I've been a fan of him. I think I've picked him every fight up until this one. But, man, same boat as Omar. I did not see him being able to do the things he did against Ismagulov in this fight. That was a huge breakthrough performance for Grant Dawson.
That's awesome for him, man. I'm happy for him. I did not pick him. I went with Ismagulov. I just think his resume and his skill set is just so impressive. But Grant Dawson, man, he just made the fight his fight the whole time. Very impressive stuff. Omar, looking at the light... Yeah.
Sorry, Mark, did you give him a 10-8 round in the first round?
No, but I wasn't really... I was watching it live. I haven't, rewatched it to score it. But live, I don't remember thinking it was a 10-8. Did you?
One judge gave it a 10-8. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I was just looking on MMA decisions, and they did have a good amount of people saying that it was a 10-8. 71.4% people said it was a 10-8 round. So maybe I do need to go back and watch it again. I didn't see it as so much of a... I saw it more of as like a positional mauling, right? Like definitely threw damage and had damage in there for sure, but I don't know. Maybe 10-8... I guess if we're giving 10-7s to people who were almost dead, I guess 10-8 probably wasn't too far from the truth.
Yeah, could be. I haven't rewatched.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
Sorry, Mike.
No, it's all good.
I cut homeboy off here. So where does he go from here? Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson. So didn't this boy ask for a title shot off of that win?
No.
He didn't? I wouldn't even been mad at him for it. He wouldn't have gotten it, but I wouldn't have been mad at him for it.
He said he either wants to fight above him in the rankings or a huge name if it's not. So he said, like, if they gave him a Tony Ferguson, he would say yes just because of how huge the name is. That
makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, what's Dan Hooker doing right now? Dan Hooker might be a good one to throw him in there with.
We're about to preview Dan Hooker in 30 minutes here.
Well, then the winner then.
Jalen Turner.
The winner of Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner. There it is.
There you go. That works.
Mark,
That
any
does
other
work.
ideas?
Yeah, I mean, he's there now. I actually haven't looked. Are the UFC rankings out this morning? I'm curious how high they put him. Because I put him at 8, and I'm wondering. Yes.
10.
Like these are updated.
10.
10. Okay, but they still have Dos Anjos in lightweight, which is retarded because he moved up to welterweight multiple fights ago. So really, they have Dawson at 9. Who do they have ahead that I don't? Oh, I have him one ahead of Gamrot. They have Gamrot ahead of him. Fair enough. Yeah, you could go a lot of ways. You know, like there's this possibility that Arman could end up fighting Chandler if Chandler's not going to get Conor McGregor. But if not, Dawson and Arman could be a really good fight. I could see Dawson and Gamrot. You could even go Fiziev. I mean, any of these guys are fine. Point is just like this is where we are now for Grant Dawson. He's absolutely got to be fighting someone in the top 10.
Okay. What about Ismagulov? What about him, guys? Mark, let's stay with you and give me a name for Ismagulov at lightweight.
I actually hadn't thought about him now that I realize it, but I have an idea. I just want to see if he is booked. Otherwise, I would like it. He's not. I will say Diego Ferreira, who just returned and got a great win over Michael Johnson. He's a guy who was ranked before his kind of break that he took. And I feel like kind of right in a similar spot as where Ismagulov is coming off that loss. Let's throw them both in there. Might get some crazy scrambles in that one.
Nice. Omar, any other ideas?
I would actually like to see him against the Steamroller, against Mr. Matt Frivola. I think that would be an interesting fight.
Wow,
Yeah.
great fight. Huge fight for Frivola.
Especially with Frivola having shown this new striking comfort, I think it makes it even more interesting.
Yep, I like that one.
Okay, nice.